Hi everyone, how you doing? It's been a while since I made a video, and I've been meaning to make this one for a while, ever since I got a few albums by The Who, which is a band that I grew up not really caring for, to be honest with you. I mean, I liked some of their songs, but for the most part, not really a fan growing up, and never really heard their albums all the way through. You know, I know the big songs that got played on the radio in regular rotation and things like that, but recently I picked up pretty cheap a bunch of Who albums, and I actually have five that I'm going to very briefly talk about. I haven't listened to them for the first time in their entirety, and I know I have some Who fans out there like Donald and others, so I wanted to get my opinion. So this is going to be something a little different for me, I guess. Now, these Who albums, I got some notes here, by the way, that I've prepared, and I'm going to be reading from them. I have some albums that I played out of sequence. I mean, I just went in any order. I didn't really know the order of them, which was released first. I could have found out first, but I just put them in any which order. Anyway, the first album I played was this one. It's Who's Next, which I absolutely loved this album. And I did some research as I went along, and I found out that this is often considered their best album. So I started out with what's probably the best, and maybe the rest of them couldn't live up to that. Didn't know, seeing this cover, didn't even know that they're supposed to be these guys walking away from this stone figure having finished urinating. Didn't know that, even though I guess it's obvious once you realize it. But going into it, I had no idea that that's what this cover was about. And every song on this album, at some point or another, I'd heard. I mean, the only song here I didn't know, I believe, was My Wife. That's the only song here that didn't strike a chord with me. Every other song here I liked so much that I consider this now one of my favorite albums of all time, and classic, and it's probably something that's going to get a lot of rotation when I play some great albums. Baba O'Riley, great song. I mean, what can I say? I have some notes here. Bargain, great. Love Ain't for Keeping. I didn't know it by the title, but when I played the song, I knew it and liked it. My Wife is the only one that I really didn't know, and first listen didn't really do much for me. That's the only song on the whole album that didn't really grab me much. Then you have Song Is Over. You know, I'm pretty sure I've heard this before, and it's a really nice way to end the first side. Side 2, of course, starts with Getting in Tune, which, of course, I've heard that one before and like it. Going Mobile, that's a good song. That's one I'm familiar with and heard. Didn't know these were all on the same album. Behind Blue Eyes, that's always been one of my all-time favorites of The Who, even when back in the day when I didn't think I liked them much. And the last song is the classic Won't Get Fooled Again. And what's interesting for me in that song is I always said I couldn't stand that song because it seemed so long and never-ending. And to me, at the time, I felt it epitomized things I didn't like about The Who. Yet this time, for the first time in my life, and this is a first, I liked the song. In fact, I think having it here on this album at the very end to close off the whole show, I think was perfect placement. And now I'm a fan of the song in addition to the album. So this was really quite a revelation for me. Who's Next? From there, it could only go down, I would think. So I just grabbed the first album. Well, again, doing research here on this stuff here, like finding out, of course, this is a U.S. version that came out, I believe, in 1966. The Who sings My Generation, even though it was first released in the U.K. in 65 as My Generation. Good album, another good album, played it all the way through. Just some quick notes. Out in the Street didn't really grab me much. I did enjoy the cover version of the James Brown song, I Don't Mind. I liked the song The Good's Gone. It's funny, when I played the song La 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 Lies, I thought that sounded to me at the beginning like the Beatles' Tell Me Why. And then later on in the song, it sounded like Tell Me Why also. So, that was something I picked up on. I don't know if it's just me. Let me know what you guys think. Much Too Much was good. And, of course, we end side 1 with the classic song, My Generation. enough said about that. That's just always been a favorite of mine, of theirs. The Kids Are Alright opens up side 2, which I've always liked. Another James Brown cover, Please, Please, Please. So-so, didn't really knock me out. Neither did the next couple of songs. It's Not True, only so-so. Didn't like the hard instrumental, The Ox. Just a lot of meandering nonsense, in my opinion. And I always got to add that, you know, I don't want anybody getting upset out there. You know, it's just my opinion. It doesn't mean anything in the grand scheme. A Legal Matter, good song. I like the changes in there from kind of like Roger to Pete and the vocals. I like the changes there. Last song, Instant Party, didn't really grab me. Well, anyway, I didn't like this as much as Who's Next, but it's a keeper. I'm definitely going to be listening to this again and proud to have it in my collection. Next album I went for was a compilation album, Magic Bus. I love the title track. I've always liked that song, and to me, that's the best track on here. Now, I also like some other songs. But what I want to say from the beginning is I like the way, you can tell by the cover, it's got that psychedelic 1968 type of feel to it, 67, 68. And the album, what I like about it is that there's a lot of interesting songs here, even the ones that I wouldn't jump out right away and say that I think are terrific. I actually enjoyed them because they had that vibe, that psychedelic 60s vibe. So it really flowed nice, this whole album. And I would say like Run, 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 or we'll start with Disguises. Disguises is good. Run, Run, Run I recognize from another album. I'll get to that later, which is a pretty good song. Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, lukewarm on that one. First listen. I Can't Reach You is interesting. Our Love is interesting. Call Me Lightning is a song that I knew as a B-side on a Joan Jett 45 of all things, and I always knew that Pete Townsend wrote it. So I'm used to the Joan Jett version, which is not very well known. So this was a little, well, it was good. It was a good song, I think. But I'm used to the Joan Jett version. Side 2 starts off with the Magic Bus, one of their, I don't know if it's my favorite Who song, but it's way up there. Someone's Coming, I liked. Doctor, I liked. I didn't really care too much for Bucket Tea and Pictures of Lily. I think that's a popular one, but it didn't do it for me much the first time I hear it here. I heard that the Who didn't like this album. They didn't appreciate this compilation, but I liked it. So I think it's too bad it's not just a regular studio album of all tracks made just for this one project. I really think it's a good overall collection. The next album that I put on was one that I've been holding for later because I was thinking I wasn't going to like it much. It's the Who Sell Out. Now, my notes here, this came out in 1967. It's a concept LP, and I think they really do well at that concept idea. I mean, it really holds together with the vintage ads, you know, and commercials and things like that. I love the way the album starts out with the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday beginning, and then gets into the music, and all the advertisements in between are really, really well done and keep the feel of the concept, which I like. I love the first one. Can't really say it. Armenia, City in the Sky, great opener, and Marianne with the Shaking Hand. I just basically said in my notes here, all of side 1 has a great feel to it. I really like that kind of feel of the concept, and it all goes good. It has a real nice flow to side 1. Side 2 I didn't think was as good in my opinion, and I hated that song, Silas Stingy. Couldn't stand that one. I really didn't like side 2 much, so first listen, I really liked side 1, but side 2 just did not grab me. It's more like the stuff I don't like from the Who, and I'm trying to figure exactly if I can like find out what it is. Maybe some people can help me with that who are fans. What it is I don't like about them. And the next album I'm going to talk about is an album that I did not buy, and I'm glad because I didn't like it. Let me explain. It's the album In the U.S., that's called Happy Jack. It's the second album. In the U.S., it was called A Quick One. It's got the black cover, the U.S. one anyway. I'm talking about the black cover, Happy Jack. In my record store not too long ago, I was in there and we played the whole album all the way through. I just wanted to sample it. Really didn't like the album. Really didn't like the album. But I did like, which I already knew, Boris the Spider. You know, John Entwistle's song. It's fun. And also Run, 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 which I'm happy to now have that on the other album, Magic Bus. So I managed to get that song. The song Happy Jack itself, I've heard it. I've never been a big fan of it, but it's okay. So those are really the only three songs I really liked on that second album. Happy Jack, I could tolerate. Run, 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 and Boris the Spider. So I have those elsewhere. Like I have Boris the Spider on the Meaty Beaty Big and Bouncy compilation. So that really helps me with that one. Let's see. Well, that's the thing. I don't know what it is about the songs on that album, but they had that feel that I always thought about The Who that I didn't like in my early days. And it's not an album I'm going to add to my collection. I'm not going to be a completist and add the Happy Jack album because I really didn't like it. And again, just my opinion. Maybe somebody knows what I can't put into words what the differences are in those songs as opposed to the other ones I heard. But yeah, that's my talk on this. I really enjoyed that album, Who's Next, which is easily my favorite by The Who, from what I've heard so far. I'm very, very interested in getting the Tommy album and the Quadrophenia album to hear those. I mean, I know songs from there. And I kind of, when I grew up, I mean, those were very popular. When I was growing up, everything was the Tommy movie that came later. I didn't even realize that Tommy was a 1969 album. I thought it was a 70s album because of the movie and all that, and Elton John association with it. So I'm going to be anxious to hear Tommy very much and Quadrophenia. Those are my two next that I'm interested in checking out. So I hope you had some fun with this, and those are my first impressions of the Who albums that I heard. Have a good one.